Oh no.
Huh?
What is it?
Oh, Mr. Monk, just forget about it.
You can't just say, oh no, and not tell me.
Well, are you sure you want to hear it? Okay. Well, I have good news and I have bad news. Which one do you want to hear first?
Well, if you tell me the bad news first, I'm gonna be thinking about the bad news the entire time, and I want to be able to enjoy the good news. But if you tell me the good news first, I'm gonna be so anxious for what the bad news could be that I'm not gonna enjoy the good news either way.
Okay, whatever. Just pick one, good news or bad news.
Okay, the bad, no, the good news, the bad news, the good news, the bad news, the good news, no, the bad news, the good news, the bad news, final answer, the good news, the good news, the good news.
Okay, the bad news is Betty White died.
Wait, Betty White, the one who was on Golden Girls, Rosen Island?
Yeah, I didn't know you watched her.
Yeah, well, she's on Channel 10.
Of course. Well, on a brighter note, you know the book I published about us going to Germany and how I'm currently publishing the one that goes directly after that? Well, in about 2 months, we are going to be interviewed over the book.
Wait, us, like me and you, are you, not you, you, the writer, you?
Yes, us, Mr. Monk. We gotta go try new things. Come on.
It's jungle out there, disorder and confusion everywhere. No one seems to care. Well, I do. Hey, who's in charge here? It's jungle out there, poison in the very air we breathe. You know what's in the water that you drink? Well, I do, and it's amazing. People think I'm crazy, 'cause I worry all the time. If you paid attention, you'd be worried too. You better pay attention, or this world we love so much might just kill you. I could be wrong now, but I don't think so, 'cause there's the jungle out there. There's the jungle out there.
Hello, and welcome to this very original talk show. I'm here today with the very famous detective, Adrian Monk, and his very lovely assistant, Natalie Teeger. Today, we are discussing Natalie Teeger's new book, Mr. Monk Goes to Germany. How are you? I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. Natalie, I don't want to be here.
He means he is really glad to be here.
We are so honored. So, Mr. Monk, what prompted you to go to Germany?
Many things. The first one is, a man moved into my apartment building, who had one leg. At the same time, my singular sock went missing, so, reasonably, I thought
he had stolen it. He didn't, but he is a cannibal. Cannibal?
Mr. Monk, he is not a cannibal.
He was a cannibal. He ate his own leg and was probably after me next. I'm very clean, untainted, just what every cannibal wants. And the other reason was because my shrink unjustly went to Germany, leaving me and all his other patients, but me, all alone, very selfishly. So, let me get this straight. You went to Germany because your therapist had gone there, and because a man had one leg. And he was a cannibal. Yes, that is correct. Can we go home now?
Mr. Monk, you're fine. But we did have to drug him to even get him on the flight. Natalie, you were more than Mr. Monk's assistant, correct? I mean, there seems that Mr. Monk wouldn't be able to go and do a lot of the things without you.
Mr. Monk is a brilliant man. It's so enjoyable working with him.
Well, you are his protector too, right? I mean, back in Germany, you punched his therapist, Dr. Kroger, in the face, breaking his nose, just because you thought his doctor had betrayed him. I mean, that took guts.
I still can't believe I did that. I feel so bad. Sorry, Dr. Kroger. But I do care for Mr. Monk, and when people hurt him, it makes me mad.
You know, that's great. You've been through so much with Mr. Monk, never quitting in all these years, unlike his previous nurse and or assistant. And you must be very loyal to put yourself in danger as you do with him. I mean, come to think of it, you were the one to find the body. Tell me, how was that?
I'll tell you what it wasn't. It wasn't scary. I mean, it's sad really, but I've grown so used to dead bodies that when I smelled it, I instantly knew, and in an even sadder way, it kind of reminded me of home.
Aww. Is that the same way with you, Mr. Monk? When solving all these murders and these crimes, does that make you feel a little more at home?
Oh, home. Home. Oh, home. How I long to be home. I was home once. I was home before I came here. Oh, I want to go home.
No, Mr. Monk, you're doing fine. Besides, we have to try new things, and we're already here, and I'm so proud of you. Now answer the question.
Oh, right. I'm being interrogated. What was the question again?
When solving these crimes and murders as you do, does it bring a sense of home to you?
Thing reminds me of home. Home isn't home. At least, not after Trudy died.
Mr. Monk.
Yes. Well, going back to the book, you did need help solving these cases. I mean, you called Captain Leland Stoudemire a few times, and I bet he wasn't too happy with those phone calls. How do you think he felt, Natalie?
Well, he was very groggy. I mean, I woke him up a few times and I'm sure he wasn't too happy about that. But he was very helpful, especially with keeping Mr. Monk sane. Well, as sane as he could be.
How about we ask him ourselves? Give it up, everybody, for Captain Leland Stahlmeyer! So, Leland, mind if I call you Leland? What were your thoughts on Mr. Monk going to Germany? Well, honestly, I was shocked. I still am shocked. I still have no idea how he was able to do it on account of all his phobias.
Right, his phobias. Let's see. It says here he has a fear of germs, needles, dentists, death, snakes, lightning, charcoal, chia pets, clouds, dust, egg whites,
Mushrooms, heights, crowds, aardvarks, airplanes, crooked everything, clouds, bugs, animals in general, cocoons, coughing, vomiting, crooked everything, darkness, dirt, dogs, driving, ladders, disorder.
Well, don't forget babies, bees, and blenders, being shot, birds and their droppings, bird, claustrophobia, boats, bridges, buses, bullies, cannibals, cats, caves, chalk, change, and other people.
and milk.
Forgot. Milk. Right. Moving right along here. Leland, it says in the book that you weren't too keen on helping Mr. Monk. I mean, he was too out of it to solve the case back in San Francisco, and he tried calling you to solve some other case. And yet, he did eventually solve the case you were working on, which you seemed to be stumped. So, what was the real reason you were helping Monk?
Trudy. It was because of Trudy. I've worked with Monk since the very beginning, and I was with him the night Trudy died. We were working on a case together, and she was a friend of mine, and I want to have that case solved.
Well, in the end, it wasn't the correct six-fingered man, so how'd that make you feel?
I was a little upset that we didn't find the correct six-fingered man, the man who killed Trudy, but at least another killer's in jail for a long time.
So, Mr. Monk,
It says in the book that you solved the murders of an ex-husband, a resident in a random apartment, his next door neighbor, the reporter, and all in the matter of days. So, how does that make you feel?
Well, it's not the most murders I've solved in a short period of time. I'm sorry. Is this couch new?
well, yes, it is. What does this have to do with the book?
Nothing. But when did you get this couch?
2 weeks ago, maybe a month?
And the tag still isn't off?
Well, I'm a very busy guy, Mr. Monk. I still don't see what this has to do with the book.
Can I ask you a question this time?
Well, that technically was a question. But shoot, I'm curious to see what you'd have to ask.
Well, you replaced this couch after you murdered Betty White, didn't you?
What are you talking about, Monk?
It's nothing. It's probably just a hunch, but if it were to be true, here's what happened. Betty White was going to be turning 100 very soon, and was making a round of appearances on talk shows to promote her big birthday bash, being celebrated around the country. If you watch these interviews, she hints at working on another tell-all book. She has written several books, but never revealed one secret, and this would be her last chance to do so.
Why would I care what Betty White had to say?
Years ago, when you were first trying to make a name for yourself, Betty White had hired you to be her assistant to her assistant. You had access to the studios and venues Betty would be going to. At one of these, you ran into a former friend, a sack golfer.
A what?
Works on lights. He died right before Betty White was to appear on the show, when a loose overhead light on the catwalk fell while he was trying to adjust it, causing him to be pulled over and fall to his death, and Betty's appearance was canceled.
I remember that happening. It was ruled a tragic accident, Monk.
No, he did it. And Betty had her suspicions, which she was writing about in her new book. When Betty was on her show, she jested in front of the audience that you both knew why she let you go.
But how did he do it? And what does that have to do with the couch?
The audience saw us laugh. It was a joke, Monk. Besides, the audience saw her leave here alive.
You were in habit of sharing a glass of wine with your guests after the show. I should know you wrote it in your email. You poisoned Betty. She went home that night and passed away. There was no reason to do an autopsy. She was so old, and most thought she was doing too much. She was tired after the interview. So old. Betty was shaky, a bit clumsy, and she spilled some of the wine on the couch. Even trying to clean it, the poison would still be traced in the fibers.
That's preposterous. That man died by accident. Sure, it was tragic, but those lights were loose. It could have happened to anyone, even me.
But not just anyone. A man you were having an affair with for years. And Betty was going to mention that affair publicly in her book as well. She was also going to mention a wine that was homemade just for the two of you, that you shared every year on your anniversary. So you poisoned it, the wine, and you poisoned Betty.
That's a bit far-fetched, don't you think? I mean, why would I want to kill the woman, the actress, who played my favorite character on Golden Girls? She was a national treasure.
Because she was the actress who knew too much.
And where's your proof? Betty White died a while ago.
Couches take a while to be brought to the dump. I'm sure that particular couch is in the storage unit right now.